I was detained at Suvarnabhumi airport, transferred to an immigration detention centre, and then forced to buy a one-way ticket out of Thailand. Why would you just not get one of those simple DTV visas like so many other people have done? Well, truth is you need 23,000 Australian dollars in your bank account before you can even apply for one of those. And as hard as I may have worked over the last 2 years, there was no way I was accumulating 20 plus grand on top of living costs. It just wasn't going to happen for me as a YouTuber in Jomtien.
I know I'm one.
Throughout that saga, I explored every available contingency. While I'm not going to go into this too deeply, I concluded that the costs of trying to get back into Thailand, even for a few days, just to gather my belongings, whilst potentially possible, it was going to be prohibitively expensive. Having already accumulated a considerable amount of credit card debt just to get to that point, the wisest option was to cut my losses. So I left Da Nang on the aeroplane and flew into Singapore and took a taxi to a budget accommodation hotel. I slept here until 4 a.m. the next morning when I took a taxi back to Changi Airport and boarded a flight to Sydney. In being a travel YouTuber over the last 2.5 years, you're constantly hitting hurdles. That adversity at times, many times, can feel completely overwhelming. And I reckon only through a steadfast belief in oneself could one overcome those hurdles again and again. For me, that blind confidence and refusal to give up meant that hitting pause on my journey was not an easy decision. After you've been in the habit of pushing and pushing and pushing, regardless of anything, it's unnatural to just turn around and say, okay, let's stop pushing. Sitting there in the airport terminal in Da Nang, credit cards maxed out, with no clear path forward other than potentially moving to Vientiane in Laos or Phnom Penh in Cambodia and starting YouTube fresh with no contacts, no language, no cultural understanding. It was time to get real. Flying into Sydney, all that I had was the few clothes that I had in my carry-on luggage, my laptop, and my camera. That's it. Since arriving back home, I focused on settling into Australia, reconnecting with family, and attaining employment that will pay off that credit card debt, and then put myself in a position where I can begin planning for round 2 of Gone Adrift. The next item on the agenda today is to try and get my Australian phone number back. Despite having taken it to Thailand and paid for, intimately topped up the prepaid thing, I must have left it too late. All right, we're in the line. Sweet success, we're back on. The next thing I'm noticing is everyone's speaking English, right? Any conversation I can listen into, I understand exactly what everyone's saying. Husbands talking to their wives, men talking to their girlfriends, clearly in full Technicolor English, wow. Next task on the to-do list is my bank. Where do I start with these guys? From 2 years traveling overseas, having an NAB, National Australia Bank, whilst trying to do banking overseas has been intolerable. So time to go confront them. It's not quite the same as the Yamaha Mio, but I'm gonna have a jam on Dad's old Harley. Hasn't been started for a while. I had to jump start it. Have a look at this thing.
It's not 100cc, mate.
Not 100cc. Another job well done. Now let's return the garden to its former glory with the sprinkler on. My granny, great pride in the garden. This Looking a bit worse for wear after 2 years undercover. Let's give it a wipe down. So where to for me and the channel? I'm not going to give the whole plan away just yet. And as you'll see in subsequent videos, readjusting to life in this inflated economy, finding an income to support myself and trying to make up with family all the lost time over the last 2.5 years while I haven't been present. It's a big job, and I hope that some of you will stick around to see how I try and manage these things whilst planning the next overseas assault. It could be Thailand, it could be India, it could be Goa. Perhaps it's the Middle East, perhaps it's Vegas going to visit Ramsey. Perhaps it's a road trip through the Midwest of the States and eventually winding up in New York. Wherever it is, I can guarantee that there are stories to be told. There is a big world out there, and I have no intention of sitting idle for any longer than I have to. Should about do it. Zucchini. I've not seen zucchini 2 years. It's a long story. I cannot tell you how twisted it feels to be able to get every bit of food, every cooking ingredient I could ever dream of, all in one place. All so familiar. A special mention to Aaron and Keezy, who lovingly packed up my apartment, boxed up all my belongings and camera gear and clothes and crap, and have stored that for me for the future. Thank you, boys.